Hey everyone, welcome to Dawnbringer, your daily World Championships recap for the League of Legends World Championships 2021. We had day 2 of the play-in stage today, so I want to just talk through some of the takeaways there. If you want to get quick game recaps on all 8 of the games that were played today, head to oracleselixir.com and find the written version of this. But I just want to talk through kind of what the takeaways were. And yeah, it was an interesting day. We had, I think, more one-sided games than close ones, which tends to be the case in the play-ins more often than not. But yeah, I mean, Peace got a big win, and that's, I think, where I'd like to start is just seeing Peace get a win over Infinity Esports. I was really happy for Bobbip and Tally in this case. Guys that came over to North America for this year, along with kind of that big second wave of Oceanic players coming over to North America with their region getting wound down. Going into the last off season, and then it kind of got wound back up in a bit of a different way. And so they did have something to go back to when their first split in North America didn't really work out for either of them. Bobbip was on TSM Academy, and that really didn't work out for, I think it was worse for the team than it was for him, but he wasn't doing very well. Tally, struggled with Golden Guardians Academy, and both of them were let go and landed back in the LCO and joined a team together and made it back to Worlds. And seeing them both play really well in the win today, kind of a heartwarming story, something to feel good about, and being able to see that Peace have a chance to get into the best of fives and see what kind of damage they can do there. It's just something to feel good about for them, something to celebrate. In Group B, I think the rest of Group A is kind of shaking out more or less as expected, but in Group B, the big story is kind of that fight for the second seed. We can talk about Cloud9, who look like as long as they win tomorrow against Unicorns of Love, who have been the weakest team in Group B so far, then they're through. And they've made it to the group stage, and they just have to see what happens in the rest to find out whether, as is most likely, they'll be drawn into Group A and kind of face that group of death, or whether something really strange happens. Maybe they end up somewhere else, but most likely they win tomorrow and they land in Group A, but we'll have to see. Even if they do lose tomorrow, it'll take a Detonation Focus Me win and then a tiebreaker. So if Cloud9 lose, Detonation Focus Me win, they'll play a tiebreaker. Since Cloud9 beat Dead FM last time, they'll have the side selection for the tiebreaker, and they did beat them last time. So, a lot of things will have to go wrong for Cloud9 to land in that best of fives stage to get out of play-ins, but anything can happen. And I think the big, to quickly wrap up some thoughts on Cloud9, I thought, Blabber in particular looked really good today. Fudge had another strong game. Vulcan very map active and really good. Sven Carrot, I think everybody looked pretty good. Perks had that one really unfortunate misplay where he, forgot to activate his Tryndamere ult, or was it touch slow and trying to really min-max it right down to the end of his health bar. And, the Silas stolen Tryndamere ultimate on the other side maybe caught him off guard, whatever it was. But in general, I thought he looked fine. And the team as a whole seems to be clicking. They've got some stuff to clean up around when they choose to take fights. Sometimes they're going after fights they don't really need to, and, arriving late to a Rift Herald rotation seems to be the main thing at this point, but then still going for the fight anyways, rather than saying, hey, we're behind on the tempo in this rotation, we're not going to be there in time. Let's just give it up and recapture some tempo elsewhere, play the map, cross-map something. But they seem to be a little overconfident in their ability to win a fight. And they say, no, we can win this. It's going to create an advantage for us. And they go after it, and it kind of hurts them a bit. But I think I've seen more positive things out of their macro than negatives. Just that the negatives are much more noticeable because it results in lost kills. Whereas the positives, the rotational stuff and the side lane management and stuff is leading to better setups into objectives. And those are sometimes a little more subtle and hard to notice. And I think it's been fine. I think it's been pretty good. But yeah, so the big story of Group B then ends up being kind of that fight for second spot to get the favorable seed for the best of fives to qualify into the main group stage. And there's a lot of talk yesterday about Galatasaray and how they were, they had a 2-0 day and were looking really good, and a lot of people speculating maybe they're the best team in the group, and getting honestly a little carried away. I didn't think they looked that great yesterday. I wasn't going to go out there and badmouth them. I didn't, I think the extent that I took it to was I didn't write about them in my takeaways yesterday or talk about them in my takeaways, even though they were like on the post day show, the wrap-up show, and on the desk and all that. They were a really big topic and everybody was praising them a lot. And I just thought, I'm not convinced. And so I didn't really talk about them at all. And I think today kind of validated that a little bit, that they weren't quite as good as their 2-0 results suggested. So yeah, they lost. Detonation Focus may beat them. Maybe the cleanest game, or one of the cleanest games we've seen them play in so far. They kind of smashed them. Good draft for DFM, and they ran with that. So it looks like DFM are the second best team in the group. Now, we still have to confirm that. They'll play against Beyond Gaming, but I think it's kind of shaking out and stratifying pretty clearly in Group B that it's Cloud9, then DFM, then Galatasaray, then Beyond Gaming, then UOL at the bottom. That could shift up a little bit depending on how these last games go. Maybe we'll get some tiebreakers and things, but I think that's kind of how it's landed. I know that there may be some dissenting opinions on that, but that's how I've felt about it. I think today's results did validate that and verify it. So, as much as Doggo had a good day and Beyond, looked a little better in some ways, and anything can change from one game to the next. I think that's a pretty clear kind of power ranking of Group B. And when we get into the crossovers and the best of five, I also think that core of teams behind the first place Cloud9 team is stronger than what you have in Group A, which everybody kind of expected coming in. So Hanwha are most likely going to have to play against Galatasaray, maybe Beyond Gaming, I think. And that could actually be an interesting matchup. And then the other way around, I'm not sure who's going to come out in third place from Group A, but most likely have to play against DFM, and I think DFM are probably going to make it through at that point. So that's how it's all shaking out at this point from my perspective, and what I kind of took away from day two. Had another good fantasy day. We got another cash out on a 3 times payout on I'd play really low stakes stuff over at DraftKings, and I think today was a bit of a better day for my Esports One fantasy as well for the week. But yeah, I've got my next my day 3 lineup up. We're going to go for 3 out of 3 winning lineups. And I've posted that on Patreon, so make sure you check out patreon.com/oracleselixir if you want to come along for the ride and either submit that lineup with me or do something different or just follow out of interest. So head over and subscribe there. And yeah, we'll have 4 games on the schedule for tomorrow, plus whatever tiebreakers. I think it's probably going to have a pretty good set of tiebreakers to play out. And at least 1 or 2 games that won't mean a whole lot. I think maybe just the one game that doesn't really mean a whole lot. That might just be a lot of fun to watch. So, tomorrow will be, I'm hoping for my sake, my workload and my sleep schedule and stuff, that it'll be a shorter day, but we'll find out. Could be a long one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again tomorrow.